huge effort to make everything clear. So now finally need your feedback. Now finally need your feedback on my voice so that I can start it. I am sending a message in the WhatsApp group so that everyone will can come to attend my session. Then okay, they can come. Okay. Thank you. So, first of all, I am again sorry for this inconvenience. Actually, technical error can be faced anytime, anywhere. You don't need to, you can't predict them. So, we are, without wasting the time, we are going to start our agenda, but you don't need to worry at all. I will give you each and I will tell you each and every element of this topic. So this is the topic. So what is ethics? We were discussing about the ethics. Ethics is basically our moral principles on which the basis we have done a decision. So whenever you take the decision, you have done, whenever you take the decision, the basis on which you take the decision, that is your moral principles. That is your moral principles. So if we are talking about the more principle, I will talking about the very generic definition of the moral principles, and it is if you do any decision, if you do any decision based if you do any decision on the basis of public interest, or if you do any decision, if you take any decision for the public interest, then it means you act as an ethical person. But on the other hand, if you do a decision which is going to be favor in yourself on the cost of on the compromising the cost of the public interest, then it means you are not acting as an ethical person. You are not acting as a ethical person. So what we learn from this, that is ethics. Ethics means the moral principles that governs a person behavior or the conducting of any activity. And what are the moral principle means, which is mentioned in the ethics definition. Moral principle means if you do any decision for the public interest, if you do any decision for the public interest, it means you done as an ethical person. But if you do not take the decision for the public interest and you take the decision for your self interest, then it means you are not you are not done as an ethical person. So who will decide this thing? Who will decide this thing? International accounting standards, ISAs, or any legal guidance available, then we don't need to think then we don't need to think about ethical decision because it is controlled by the legal guidance. Now, I will tell you, whenever you will take any decision basis on the guidance available, what are the type of guidance? That is international accounting standard or international standards on auditing or any legal guidance which is available to support your decision, then we don't need to think about what action you will take. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. If you are going to take a decision based on the international accounting standards or international standards on auditing or any legal guidance which is available for to support your decision, then it means that you take a decision basis on these guidance, and by default and by standard we can say that you act as an ethical person, you act as an ethical person. But if I am talking about where these guidance are not available, then how you can take the decision? then how you can take the decision. So when the issues will beyond the legal guidelines, whenever you take any decisions, but these guidelines are not available, and then how you can take that decision. Then you think about the right decision, what to do and what not to do in this scenario where these guidelines are not available. Then you have to decide yourself what to do and what not to do. If you do for the public interest, if you take the decision in the favor of the public interest, then it means your decision is ethical. But if you do not take if you do not take the decision in the favor of public interest, then it means you take the decision on the basis of self interest, because you have some interest in that decision and you took this decision only for yourself, and the benefit of the public interest will be compromised because of your decision, because of your favor. So whenever you take the decision, if you have the legal guidance or any type of guidance is available and you comply these guidance and take the decision, then it means your decision is ethical. But when these guidelines is not available, when these issues will beyond the legal guidelines, then you have to think what to do and what not to do. So your decision should be ethical and should be in the favor of the public interest, and you should not compromise the public interest over your benefit. So this is all about the little concept about the ethics. So I need your feedback about any ambiguity in this slide, and also I need your feedback about my voice. Do you still feel any distortion or everything is clear? So I need your feedback very in a very hurry mode. So kindly reply me. And I know you people may be distracted, or people you may be tired because of the inconvenience, but you should need to give the attention to my webinar. You should need to focus on this session because it is very important for the exam point of view. You could be motivated. You should be motivated. Let's say I am not the interested party for the December 2020 attempt, but I was trying my best. I was trying very much. If I will say you the condition of my table, there are three laptops are available and three mics and the three types of different nets. At least the issue is resolved. So I need your full attention. We are going in a very good way now. Thank you for your everyone. So that's all about the first slide of the today's agenda. Now we are going for the second slide. That is, everything is not covered by legality in your personal slash professional life. Everything is not clear by legality in your personal and professional life. In your personal and professional life. So suppose I will give you the example about the personal life. Everything is not covered. Your every decision is not supported, is not guided by the legal guidelines or any other guidelines. Suppose I will give you one example where there is no guidance is available and you took the decision and you take the decision on the daily basis. Suppose I'm giving you the example, you are going for the entertainment after taking my session, and specifically today after finishing the session you should be go for the entertainment on at your own car. So when you are going, you stop at the red light of the signal. Obviously you should be stop at the red light of the signal. So when you are stopped on the red light of the signal, after a few seconds suddenly the ambulance came behind your car, and there is no way, there is no path to go ahead, because in front of the ambulance you stop the car due to the red light of the signal. So what you will do, you will give the way, you will give the path to the ambulance so that it can reach the hospital on time, and maybe someone's life which was on stake, maybe he or she will survive. So what you would do, what you did, you you took a ethical decision. You took a ethical decision. That's why you broke the signal. Even the red light is appearing on the signal, but you break the signal for the someone's life. You break the signal to save someone's life which was at risk. So this is the ethical decision. There is no guidelines are available. There is no information is available, but on the spot you take the decision, and you finalize, you decided that it is best, the decision is the best interest of the public, so you break the signal and clear the path so that the ambulance can reach the hospital on time to save someone's life. So this is the example of the personal life, and this is the example of the ethical decision which you do on daily basis. So there are many ethical decisions, there are many ethical elements which you do on daily basis. This is the just example to clarify you, to give you an explanation, that is the ethical decisions, ethical scenarios you can face on daily basis. So today, if you've taken my example, I have tried a lot to start the session. I have tried a lot. I have changed many things. Like there are three mics, there are three laptops available right now. I have done a very good effort, but it is just my ethical decision because I know you are my lovely students and you are going to attempt the paper in December 2020. So it is ethical because I am doing this just because of you. I am just doing this just because I would like to see your future very bright. So this is just an example of the ethical decision which you do on daily basis. Next is the professional life example. Next is professional life example. Professional life example, you are the audit manager. Inshallah, you will become the audit manager of a company. You will you are doing the audit of a company, like you are audit manager and doing the audit of a company. And when you have done the audit and share your problems, share your observations, share your objections with the management before issuing the report. This is obviously a thing which is happen in every audit. You will share your issues, objections, and concerns on daily basis before issuing the report, but after the audit. So you have discussed the all issues with the management, and after 2 or 3 days before issuing the report, management has offered you a very significant gift, like a car or something else. So this is the thing where there is no guidelines is available. Now it's up to you whether you will accept the car or humbly reject the offer. If you will accept the car, then you are not able to do the audit with integrity and honesty. So if you will humbly reject the offer, you are able to do the audit with honesty, integrity, and objectivity. So from your perspective, if you are the audit manager and I am the client and I will offer you a car to do not disclose the problems and issues which the auditor has highlighted in the financial statements. So being a client, if I will offer you a car, so will you accept it or reject it? Will you accept my gift or you will reject the gift? Kindly, are you sure you will reject it? This is the okay, good, good. Good, Sahel. Good, Harshani, Midhat. Thank you. Hamza, Abrian, thank you for your support. Obviously, your support gave me more motivation. Obviously, for some time I got demotivated, but now I'm again. Thank you. So, this is the personal life example and professional life example I have given you to clear your your confusion. So, we are going to the next slide. That is fundamental principles of professional ethics. Fundamental principles of professional ethics. So, number one is integrity. Integrity means you should be straightforward and honest in all matters. You should be straightforward and honest in all professional matters. So, whenever you are going for the audit or whenever you are going to do some assignment, you should be straightforward and make this assignment with honesty. You will not be you will not take any gift. You will not do anything which will feel that you are dishonest. So integrity means that you always act as an integrity based person. So next principle is objectivity. Next principle is objectivity. You will always behave like objectivity, like you should not be biased. You should not be biased with someone. So I will give you an example. There is always a conflict between the accounts department and the audit department. So if you are working as an audit manager, in a company and your conflict is occurred with the accounts department, so it is your responsibility to act as a professional person. It is your responsibility to act as a professional person and should not be biased and try to resolve the issue with the accounts department. You should not be biased. You should not make the conflict the issue of your ego. So if you have any conflict with the anyone, you should behave you should behave professionally. You should not allow to become biased with someone or with any department. So whenever there is any conflict, it is your responsibility. You should behave professionally and try to resolve the issues on merit basis. You should not become biased because of the ego, or you become stick on your opinion even it is not right. So you should be objective. You should not be allowed to become biased. Now, what is the third option? That is professional competence and due care. Professional competence and due care. It means you as a professional accountant always maintain your professional knowledge and skill set. You will always maintain your professional knowledge. You should always be updated with the recent knowledge, so that you can do any assignment with perfection. So I will give you an example. What is professional competence and due care? It is about your professional knowledge. You should be updated every time. I will give you an example what the ethics says. Ethics says if the client asks you to do the actuarial valuation. Actuarial valuation is the assignment. Actuarial valuation is not in your subject. It is just a different type of assignment. If the client asks you to do the actuarial valuation or please provide the services of the actuarial valuation, and if you will not know about how the actuarial valuation can be done, so you should not give these services to the client. Simply ask them that we do not have these type of skills set. So professional competence means you should always be updated with the technical knowledge and professional knowledge, and you should always provide the services. You should always provide those services which you have the skill set. If you do not have the skill set, listen to me carefully. If you do not have the skill set, if you do not have the skill set, then do not provide the services. Or but the other option is, if you do not have the services, you can hire the value actuarial valuation subject matter expert and take the services from that person. So if you do not have the services, the other option is hire the relevant subject matter expert, and then from that person you can provide the services to your respective client. But if you do not have the skills, do not provide the services. That's the first option. Second option is hire the subject valuation expert, or third is, what the third option is, develop the skill set in yourself first and then provide the services to your client. So this is all about the professional competence and due care. Number four is confidentiality. Do not disclose any information until and unless required by law or ask any proper authority from you. What it means? What it means? It means that you should not disclose any information to anyone. Suppose if you are working in any organization and you left the company and joined the another company, if you are working with the you can say Samsung and you left the company and joined iPhone, so it is Apple. It is your responsibility to do not disclose any information of the Samsung in front of Apple. So there is another example I can give to you. That is, if you are the audit manager in an audit firm, if you are the audit manager in the audit firm and you are doing the audit of Pepsi and Coca-Cola. So it is your responsibility to do not disclose any information of Pepsi to Coca-Cola and any information of Coca-Cola to Pepsi. So because you know they both are competitors. Even if they are not the competitors, you should be ethical, and it is your responsibility, it is your moral responsibility to do not disclose any information to anyone until and unless it is required by the law, or someone asks you, someone, any proper authority, any government authority, any you can say the any lawmaking authority ask you to provide the information. Only in that cases you can provide, until unless you will not provide it. Next is professional behavior. As a professional accountant, it is your responsibility to always comply with relevant laws and regulation. If you will not comply with relevant laws and regulation, it means that you are not the ethical person, and because of your non-compliance, it gives also the discredit to the profession. It will also give the discredit to the profession. Suppose there is a government, suppose there is a legal requirement, like you have to submit your income tax returns, you have to submit your tax returns every year. So if you will not submit it, it means you are not following the laws and regulations, and because of this you are become an unethical person, and because of your non-compliance, you are also giving the discredit to the profession. So these are all the fundamental principles of professional ethics. These are all the fundamental principles of professional ethics. So, do you understand what it means? Do you understand what is the meaning of each and what is the meaning of each and every ethical principle? Thank you. So everyone is gaining the knowledge. Thank you. So we are moving towards the next slide. Yes. There are five types of threats which the auditor can face. There are five types of threats which the auditor can face during the audit work, during the fulfilling their responsibility. So, what are the five types of threats? Number one is self-interest. Number second is self-review threat. Number third is advocacy. Number four is familiarity, and five is intimidation. So we will discuss one by one. So that's the thing, that's the content which the examiner will ask you in the OT cases. Today, the important thing which I am going to tell you, now we are focusing on the section A. We are focusing on the section A. Section A contains three OT cases, and each OT case have five MCQs, and five MCQs means there are 10 marks of question, because each MCQ has contains 2 marks. So 5 MCQ contains 10 marks, and 3 OT cases contains 15 marks. Each MCQ contains 2 marks, so total is 30 marks section. So section A contains 30 marks, in which 3 OT cases. So, so the ethics can be tested in the section A, and you can get easily 10 marks. You can get easily 10 marks. Okay. So we have already done approximately 70 marks section, which is section B, in which audit risk, internal controls, and supplementary procedures can be tested. Now we are going for the section A, and in section A, these are the threats which can be tested. So first we are going to discuss about the self-interest threat. Self-interest threat. What is self-interest? If the auditor is doing the audit of a company, and that auditor, listen to me carefully, and that auditor has some interest, and that auditor has some interest in that auditable organization, in that organization for which the auditor is going to audit. So do you think, if you are the auditor and you are going to audit of the client where you have some self interest, so will you do the audit on merit basis? So is it possible for you to become to act as a to act on the principles of integrity, objectivity, honesty? Do you think, is it you do you think you will be act as a neutral person if in spite of this you have some self-interest threat? Obviously, if you have some self-interest in the organization, you will not do the audit with honesty. So what should be the audit client do? Audit company do? What should be the audit firm do? Audit firm should remove that team member. So if the team member, if the audit team member has taken the loan, has already taken the loan from the client, and if they are going and if he's going to do the audit, it should not be become the part of your team member. So the team member should be removed from that team. So the threat is this, and the safeguard is this. How to convert your threat into your opportunity, or how you can save yourself from the threat. So this is a type of self-interest threat. Another example of the self-interest threat: you are doing of the audit of some multinational company. You have raised some objections, so management gives you some gifts so that you can ignore or remove that objections. So if you face that type of so if you face that type of threat, it means it is a self-interest threat, because the auditor has some interest in taking the gifts. So what should be the auditor do? So what should be the safeguard to remove that threat? So what should be the safeguard that the auditor should apply, that is ignore or leave the gift? So this is the safeguard which the auditor will apply to reduce this threat, to eliminate this self-interest threat. In the question which the examiner asked you, which the examiner ask you. So examiner will give you the case study or a discussion. Obviously, we will make the practice today. So in that scenario based question, in that scenario, you have to identify the threats and you have to mention the safeguards. So these are the examples of the self-interest threat. Suppose I'm giving you the another example, that is auditor holding the shares at client. At client means auditors holding the shares at client where the audit is going to start. So do you think that the auditor do the audit with proper proper ethical principles? Do you think that the auditor can save their ethics? No. If the auditor holding the shares and client, so the auditor will not do the audit on merit basis. So the auditor will not do the audit with full objective. So what should be the safeguard? Removing the team member who has holding the shares in a company, or what the other safeguard is, that the team member can dispose of the interest, that the auditor can sell out their shares of the client, so that the team member going forward does not have any self interest at client. So afterwards he or she can do the audit with proper ethical principles. So this is another examples of auditor holding the shares at client. So there is another example of contingency fees. What is the contingency fees? What is the example of This is another example of contingency fees. Contingency fees is another word uses conditional fees. Suppose if the client means the audit firm the client means that the auditor is going to do the audit of the company. That company is the client for the audit firm. So that company is the client for the audit firm. So if the client or if the client asks you, offer you the fees which would be conditional. And what type of condition is? If the client asks you that I will give you the 1% of my total profit, 1% of my total profit. So what the threat is that the auditor will try to do not object any transaction, listen to me carefully, that the auditor does not adjust any transaction which will reduce the profit, because if they will reduce the profit, their fees will also be reduced, because client ask you, offer you a conditional fees that is 1% of the profit. So if the auditor got some objection, have some objection on the transaction which will increase the profit, and the auditor feels this is not the right transaction and the profit is overstated, so here is the risk that the auditor may be not adjust the transaction, may not reverse that transaction, because if they reverse that transaction, the profit which is already overstated will become and reach at actual position. So in short, we can say that the profit will reduce. So ultimately, their fees will also be reduced. So contingency fees and conditional fees is not allowed. Next is low balling. What is low balling? Low balling is also not allowed, means that the audit firm can give the financial fees, can offer the financial fees to the client at a very low cost. That the audit firm offer the client at a very low cost price. So if the auditor offer a very low cost, which is not according to the practice, it means what it means. It means auditor should compromise some scope of audit work. If the auditors compromise some scope of audit work, ultimately it will lead to a damage to the public, because if the auditor does not audit each and everything of the client, or you can say does not audit the important areas of the client, it will lead to a big risk for the public interest. So low balling is also not allowed. So low balling is also not allowed. So this is another. These are all the examples which I have given to you, which becomes under the umbrella of the self-interest threat, and we have also discussed about the safeguards. So till yet from this slide, till are you able to understand what is self-interest threat and how we can reduce it by applying the safeguards? Thank you. Low balling is you cannot you cannot quote a very low fees to the client, which is also not feasible which is also not fulfilling, the expenses of the audit firm. So how audit firm can quote the very low quote price, very low quote, because audit firm want to get the client. Audit firm would like to add this client in their portfolio. So to get this client in their portfolio, audit firm can quote the price very low. So when the audit firm quote the price at a very low, so it is very much possibility that the auditor does not do the necessary portion. So the auditor does not do the audit of the necessary areas. If the auditor does not do the audit of the important areas, it ultimately leads to a risk to the material misstatements in the financial statement. So here audit risk will become higher. Maybe auditor can give an inappropriate opinion because auditor does not audit the important areas of the financial statement. So it will become the big risk for the public interest as well. So this is all about the low balance. So we are going for the next slide. That is self-review threat and its safeguards. Self-review threat and its safeguards. When the audit firm is providing the services, when the audit firm is providing the services to audit client, and those services are not a single one service. Audit firm is providing the services to audit clients like external audit services, payroll services, recruitment services, taxation services, preparation of financial statement services. If the audit firm is providing the many services to the audit client, so when that the same firm, but if the same firm will provide the services of the external audit. So do you think that audit firm can go for the proper audit, can go for the proper external audit, even and the audit firm knows that everything has been prepared of which they are going for the audit is also prepared by this audit firm. So how the audit firm audit its own work? So how the audit firm do audit of its own work? Because they cannot do audit, because all other services like preparation of financial statements, taxation services, all other services is also providing the same firm. So how they can review, how they can mention the mistakes, how they can highlight the observations in the external audit, they cannot highlight it because they cannot underestimate their other services. If they highlight the problems to the management, if they highlight the problems to the management, management will say that each and everything which is prepared is done by your firm, and now you are here to audit this. So this all problems is just because of your services, and now it is your responsibility to correct it. It is your responsibility to manage these issues. If you cannot manage these issues, you should not highlight these issues. So if the audit firm will not highlight the issues, it will create the chances of the audit risk. So self-review threat and safeguard. Any other services like taxation, valuation, or bookkeeping services, if the audit firm provide these type of services and there is a threat that is named self-review threat by reviewing its own work. by reviewing its own work, and how they can highlight the objection by its own work. They cannot highlight the objection. So how we can reduce this threat? Obtain a quality control review, or we can say that any independent second partner review can be done, any second partner which is exist in the audit firm. So we can review that audit reports, we can review that audit work from the second partner who is not involved in providing all other services, who is purely independent in the relation to the audit client. So second partner review will reduce the threat, or you can say will minimize the threat. Or what is the second safeguard? Use the other team who was not involved in providing other services. So other team will also be independent, so they can easily highlight the problems in the financial statements or in the other documents which is also prepared by the same audit client, by the same audit firm. So this is all about the self-review threat. The self-review threat, the general meaning, the generic definition is reviewing your own work, audit your own work. So what are the safeguards? Safeguards are basically reviewing the whole work to the other second partner who is purely independent, who does not have any relation with the audit client, or you can use the other team who was not involved in providing the services. So use the other team who was not involved in providing the services. So here is some you can say, we can write some who was not involved in providing the other services. So this is all about the self-review threat. Now we are going to discuss about the advocacy threat. We are going to discuss about the advocacy threat. So anyone from you tell me what is the advocacy threat and safeguard, and what can be the possible safeguard? I would like to ask from the students. Yes, Hamza, you are right. Yes, auditor represent for time some roles or places. Yes, need more feedbacks. Yes. Now, advocacy threat means you are promoting your client. You are advocate of your client. You are providing the services to promote your client. You know, when you are providing the advocacy services, it means that the client is very perfect in all perspective. Suppose I am giving you the example, your personal example. If you have a friend and you are praising your friend from 10 years, from last 10 years in front of your parents. So is it so how you can tell your friends any negativity in front of your parents, and you know that you are praising your friend from the last 10 years, and do you think is it possible for you to tell any negativity suddenly tell any negativity of your friend in front of your parents. No, it is not possible for you. So the same thing with the audit firm. If you are promoting the any audit client, so how is it possible for that firm to do the audit and highlight the problems, because on the other hand they are promoting the audit client and they are saying that the client is very perfect, that the client has a very good systems, that the client has a very good client shareholding ratio, that the client has a very good future in respective of the raising in shares price. So if you are saying, if you are praising your client at one side and on the other hand you are doing the audit and highlight the objection, so it will create a conflict. So how you can manage this thread, how you can manage this advocacy thread. So what are the possible safeguards? The possible safeguard is the department who is promoting, who is advocate, who is the advocate of that client. So you can use different departments if the risk can be minimized. If the risk cannot be minimized, then you can withdraw from the engagement. So you can withdraw from the engagement. So you should not do audit of that client. So this is all about the advocacy thread. So this is all about the advocacy thread. Now, what is the familiarity thread? What is the familiarity thread? Familiarity thread. If the audit firm has a long relationship with the client, if the audit firm has a long relationship with the client and they are doing the audit from a long period of time, so when the relationship is built, it is not possible, it is not possible for the audit firm, so it is not possible for the audit firm to conduct the audit with proper principles. So audit firm cannot carry the proper audit. So if the audit firm has a long relationship with the client, so what can be the possible safeguards? So what can be the possible safeguards to reduce that threat? So rotating the senior personnel who is doing the audit, or you can say having a professional accountant or a second partner review. You can say regular independent quality review or second partner independent review, who will review the complete audit work, and based on that audit work he will review the audit report. So how you can reduce the familiarity threat? You can rotate the senior personnel. Suppose that the partner is doing the audit from a long period of time of that client. So you can rotate the senior personnel, you can rotate that partner, and you can allocate the new partner here so that they can audit it with the proper principles. So that audit partner does not have any, so that audit partner does not have any familiarity relations with that client. So how you can reduce this? You can reduce it after a regular independent quality review, or you can say second partner review, and you can also rotate the senior personnel of the audit team. So this is all about the familiarity thread. Now we are going to discuss the last thread, that is the intimidation thread. That is the intimidation thread. So what do you say? What is the intimidation thread? Gee, listeners, what is the intimidation thread? Yes, Kainat, you are right. Kainat is also very active in our WhatsApp group. She is very kind and contributing in the group. Sahel is also many other members as well who is participating in the group and helping the members of the WhatsApp group. So everyone who is still not the part of the WhatsApp group, kindly send me the message. I will add you in that WhatsApp group. So yes, intimidation threat is pressurize the auditor due to any reason. Pressurize the auditor due to any reason. And what can be the possible reasons? What can be the possible reasons? So, when the client threatened to sue or does sue, when the client threatened to sue, for what reason? When the audit firm has identified some issues, at that time, client threatened to sue the auditor or pressurize the auditor. Or it is happen in practical life. Auditor pressurized by the client. Like I will give you an example. I will give you an example. Uh, if you highlight the problems, management can pressurize you that if you highlight the problems, if you modified our report, which is our next agenda tomorrow, if you modified our report, we will not hire you as an external auditor. We will not hire you as an external auditor for the next year. We will not hire you as an auditor for the next year. So, auditor can, so obviously, auditor will be pressurized by the client. So, client can be pressurized for many other reasons. Like I am giving you another example. If your fees is pending from the last 2 years and you are doing the audit and highlighted some issues, client pressurized you, threatened you. If you will modify a report, I will not bring your past fees and the current year fees. Client pressurize you with another way. I'm going to give you another example. That is, client pressurize you if you will highlight my problems or modify the report. I will also terminate our contract of the other services which your firm is providing. So the auditor is again pressurized by the client. So this is all about the intimidation threat. So how you can reduce it? When you were pressurized by the client, when you were pressurized by the client, you should disclose to the audit committee. You should disclose to the audit committee, or you can say you can withdraw from the engagement. You can withdraw from the engagement. Okay, you can withdraw disclosing to the audit committee and withdraw from the engagement. Okay, at last, if the problem is not resolved, withdraw from the engagement. So I have already mentioned it here. Okay, so So, are you able to understand the threat, self-interest, self-review, advocacy threat, familiarity threat, and intimidation threat? You should need to remember the basic concepts of the threats which the auditor will face and the safeguards which the audit firm can apply to reduce or eliminate the threat. So, this is very important slide. What the examiner can ask in the in the exams. What the examiner asks in the exams. They can use different words. They can use different words regarding ethical topic, ethics topic. So ethical issues, ethical threats, threats to ethical behavior, these are all the same meaning. These are all have the same meaning. So obviously this would be tested. So these are all the issues which we have, these are all the threats which we have discussed in the last slides. These threats, when the auditor face the threat, it's the decision the auditor will take, it should be ethical. It should be in the favor of the public interest. It should be in the favor of public interest. So all the threats which we have discussed, their legal guidance is not available. So it's all about the auditor to think on this time when they face any type of threat which we have discussed recently. When the auditor face any threat out of 5 threats which we have discussed, it's all about the auditor or the audit firm to act morally, or morally means to act as an ethical. So so these are all the words which the examiner asks you in the question. So this is one thing. What is the other thing? Ethical issues regarding the non-compliance with legal issues. Ethical issues regarding the non-compliance with the legal issues. This can be tested, but at a very low percentage. It is not be tested in every attempt. It is tested at a very with a very it is tested once in a blue moon, you can say. So and the safeguards can be asked by the examiner. So these things can be asked. So here I am again going to differentiate between the one point and the second point. First scenario is senior partner accepts a significant value gift from the client before issuing audit report. So this is the ethical issues which we have discussed in the last slide, the last 5 threads. What's the other scenario? Ethical issues regarding the non-compliance with legal issues. So what are the legal issues? Second scenario is pharma manufacturing company has a policy because it is a highly regulated company. The pharma manufacturing company, it's a rule that required to burn all expired medicines. It is also the law of DRAP. DRAP means Drug Regulatory Authority of Pakistan. So if the audit client fails to do so, it is also unethical. But these unethical issues related to the legality of the system, these unethical issues related to the laws, these unethical issues related to the legality, or you can say laws. So first scenario related to the threats which we have discussed in the last slides. It is not dealing with the laws and regulations. Here decision is upon the auditor. Here, the decision is based on, here the decision is based upon the auditor or audit firm moral values. And here, so this is a here pharma manufacturing company has to burn all the expired medicines according to the law. According to the law. So this is also the non-compliance, and non-compliance with laws. It is also an unethical. I have already given you the one example. Like if I have to submit tax returns every year, if I will not submit the tax returns, it is non-compliance with laws, and it is also the unethical. The person who will not compliance with the laws, it is also an unethical objective. It is an unethical activity. So this is all about the threats and the safeguards and the fundamental principles of professional ethics. So in this session, before we are going to make the practice, we have discussed that the fundamental principles of professional ethics, types of threats, and these types of threats where the legal guidance is not available. So their decision is based on the auditor's moral values, and in this second scenario, unethical decision because of the non-compliance with laws. So this is all about the ethics. So guys, what's your feedback? Have you understand each and everything of the ethical related issues? Wow, I'm getting the thumbs up today, huh? Yes, thank you. Uh, Amar Rahman, Shadil, Asif, Kainat, Nikita, Vismay, thank you, Sahir, Anusha. Good explanation. Yes. Okay. Now, so are you interested to take a 15 minutes break so that we can make the practice of at least two questions? Just give me your, after the break, just give me your 30 to 45 minutes. I am extending the session. I am extending the session for you. I have also asked the presenter. So I have arranged each and everything. Just need your attendance. So we are going to go for a break at least 50 minutes. So we will come at 11:50, 11:15. Okay, I will wait for you all. Hello and assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. So, Anusha, my contact number is 92345 447 990. And obviously, you people took a cup of coffee or a tea or snacks right now, huh? Good. So we are going to start the question. I am just texting in the group that we are going to start so everyone can join it. So I just texted in the group so everyone can join the class. So practice is very much important. Practice is very much important. The section A, meanwhile, we have discussed something important. Uh, you have to pass that paper with some technical tools. Like if you do a section very well, if you gain 20 to 25 marks, and you can take the 20 to 25 marks easily, so it will be helpful for you in clear this exam. So so you will get the opportunity that remaining 25 to 30 marks you can get it from the remaining from the section B that contains 70 marks. So strength is increasing again, so that's why uh, we are waiting and we will wait just for 30 minutes, 30 seconds more. So we will start the practice. So meanwhile, tomorrow will be our last session in which we will discuss the reports. That is also the very important topic for the exam point of view. So Anusha, I have shared the mobile number and the presenter has shared the link as well. So anyone who does not add in the group can take this link and copy this link and join the WhatsApp group through this link. So we are going to start the question. If I'm going to read the question, okay? I'm going to read the question. First of all, I have already told you read the requirement, but in that case, you need to read these five requirements. So I will recommend you to read the requirements of these five MCQs should be first, so that at least when you will read the question, you will highlight the identified threat and possible safeguard you can easily recommend it. So if I will take the first requirement, which of the following statements correctly explains the possible threats to HOTI and company's independence and recommend an appropriate safeguard in relation to their audit? So what you need to do, you need to identify the name of the threat. Threat is given in the question. What I am saying, please listen to it carefully. What I am saying, listen to it carefully. Threat is given in the question. and you need to identify the name of the threat and recommend the safeguard. So we have read the first requirement. Now comes to the second requirement. So then we will decide what's the better strategy for the OT case. But after the practice, taking into account the concern of the ethics partner, which of the partners identify as a potential replacement should take over the audit of Bushco. So we are going to read the question. Remember, in OT case, you mostly face the questions, you mostly see the questions in this structure. Like every paragraph has some threads, and each paragraph has a, you can say that every paragraph has a separate has a separate MCQ. So this paragraph contains one MCQ, this paragraph contains second MCQ, this paragraph contains third MCQ. So this is the structure of the ethics related questions. So you are an audit manager of 40 and company, and you considering the number of ethical issues which have been arisen on same of the firm's long outstanding audits. 40 and company is planning its external audit of three company. So audit client is three. You need to remember what is the name of the audit firm and what is the name of audit client. So yesterday the audit engagement partner is part of the audit firm. Charlie Thrower discovered that a significant fee for information security services. Information security services means it is non-audit related services. It is non-audit related services which were provided to tree company by HOTI company. So audit firm is the HOTI who has provided the services to tree company, and tree companies basically receives the services of information security, and the fees is overdue. Charlie hopes to be able to resolve the dispute amicably and has confirmed that he will discuss the matter with the finance director Percy at the weekend, as they are both attending a party to celebrate the engagement of Charlie's daughter and Percy's son. Charlie's daughter, it is the member of the audit firm, and Percy's son is the part of the audit client. So, how many threads are there? How many threads are there? Please mention in the question box. I would be interested to know the name of the threads. So, intimidation, familiarity threat, okay. Self-interest, mm, how it can be self-interest? I do not have any shares. I do not have, client is not offering me a gift. He's not offering me a shares. He's not offering me a good hospitality. So how it can be a self-interest threat? So, so the person, so it can be a self need more feedbacks. So I need more feedbacks. G. So the person It's a self-interest threat right away. Marriage of Percy's son with the partner's daughter. So it is a self-interest threat. कैसे? Your answer is partially right. There is a threat that is self-interest threat, but it is due to the result of overdue fees, not due to the nature of audit work. Now, I will explain you each and every option which is given in the answer, which is given in the answer. Wait a second. So, answer is yes, this is. First, I think discuss, sorry, yes. First, we will discuss the options. Which of the following statements correctly explain the possible threats to Houghton and Co. independence and recommends an appropriate? So I will discuss it one by one. An intimidation threat exists due to the overdue fees, and three companies should be advised that all fees must be paid prior to the auditor's report being signed. So there is nothing mentioned in the question about the auditor's report because the HOTI company is providing the non-audit services, not the audit services. HOTI company is providing the security services, which is not the audit services. So it can be a threat if the HOTI company provided the audit services. So read the requirement carefully. So how it can be an intimidation threat. So A option is wrong because we are not providing the audit external audit services. So second option, a self-review threat exists due to the nature of the non-audit work which has been performed and an engagement quality review should be carried out. So a self-review threat, do you think is a self-review threat? It is, tell me the reason why the second option is wrong. So they are providing the security services. They are providing the information security services, which does not have any link with the audit. So it does not have the self-review threat. It does not have the self-review threat. Self-review threat can exist if the audit firm is provided the services of the financial statements related to financial statements, or if the audit firm is busy, is involved in making the decisions. So a self-interest threat exists due to the relationship between Charlie and person, and Charlie should be removed as an audit partner. So it is a self-interest threat. So it is a self-interest threat. So if I will come to the answer, what the examiner says that a self-interest threat would arise due to the personal relationship between the audit engagement and the finance director. Personal relationship is always the part of the self-interest threat. I would like to clear one thing here. So students who are confused between the familiarity threat and the self-interest threat. Familiarity threat, I know most of the students feel that it is a familiarity threat, but it is not a familiarity threat. Familiarity threat exists where the audit firm is doing the audit that the audit firm is doing the audit from a long period of time, for a long period of time. When the audit firm has a long relationship with the client, so that's the familiarity threat. But when the professional relationships are personal, related to the personal elements, then it is a self-interest threat. Okay, got the point? See, so that's why I explained the familiarity threat and the self-interest threat. When you have the relations with the client, when you have the personal relationships with the client, it comes under the self-interest threat because these are the personal relations. Familiarity threat contains familiarity threat contains the professional relationship. Familiarity threat contains the extended professional relationship. Suppose if you are doing the audit of a client from more than last 10 years. So there's the option is D is right. So come to the question again, that is Bush and Company. Hoti and Company is the external auditor of Bush Company and also provide the other non-audit services to the company. Okay? So Hoti Company is also providing the non-audit services to the company while performing the audit for the year end 31 October 31st October 20 state. The audit engagement partner is part of the audit firm. Is part of the audit firm, was taken ill and took an indefinite leave of absence from the firm. So engagement partner is vanished from the audit scene. This ethics partner has identified the following potential replacement and is keen that independence is maintained to the highest level. So here the examiner asks you that the engagement partner is vanished, is ill. So there are four options in which we need to select one option. Which audit engagement partner is best in terms of the independence? In terms of the independence. So Brian Smith, who is also the partner in charge of the tax services provided to Bush Company. So is it an independent director? Is it an independent director? No, because they are providing the other services. Okay. Now, what is the second? Monty Nod, who was the audit engagement partner for the 10 years, 31st October, from the 31st October. So there can be a familiarity threat, okay? Because next, Catherine Dixon, who introduced Bush Company as a client, who introduced Bushco as a client when she joined the firm as an audit partner 5 years ago. Means Kathy Dixon, who introduced Bushco as a client when she joined the firm as an audit partner 5 years ago. Means this audit engagement partner just introduced the client and afterwards this partner does not have any relation with that. So I think Cassie Dixon is the right option for this. So students, do you have any ambiguity in this section, in this second MCQ? More feedbacks. I would like to see you very active. There will be no advocacy threat. Advocacy means you are promoting your client. You are promoting. So here, he just promoting means you are promoting their services. You are promoting your client in respect of quality. You are promoting your client in respect of shares. You are promoting your client like in many other ways. Okay, about quality control related topics. But in that case, partner has just present a Bush company as an audit client. If this is not the audit firm, then maybe there is another audit firm, because anyone have to do the audit of this company, so it can be anyone. So why not this company, Houghty and Co? So another thing is, Cassie introduced it 5 years ago, and going forward does not have a relation with the client, so it is an independent. Now we are going for the read the question. Third C. Now, third MCQs. Which of the following correctly identifies the threats to Houghty and Company's independence and proposes an appropriate course of the action if Alan Marshall accepts appointment as a non-executive director of Plant and Company? Okay, we are going to read the question, the third paragraph. Plant and Co. Plant and Co. is a large private company with the financial year to 30th June and has been an audit client of Houghty and Co. for several years. For several years. Alan Marshall, a partner of Houghty and Co. So this is the main thing. Alan Marshall, a partner of Houghty Company, has acted as the engagement quality control reviewer on the last two audits through the year ended 30th June 2008. So, Alan Marshall was the quality control reviewer at Houghty and Company. At a recent meeting, he advised that he can no longer be EQCR on the engagement as he is considering accepting appointment as a non-executive director and will sit on the audit committee of Plantco. So I'm giving you the 1 minute. Please read this paragraph and give me your answers. And give me your answer. The third requirement question is given. So I'm giving you 1 minute. Uh, this is a paragraph which is relevant. I'm giving you 1 minute. Please read it. And then I will scroll down to give me the answer. So I'm going to scroll down it. It will take 10 to 15 seconds more.
Now, this is the requirement. Shahar Akram, if he joins as a director, then there is a threat of self-review and self-interest, and the threat is so significant that no safeguard is possible. Okay, Karan, more feedbacks, please. Everyone give your feedback so that I can know about your preparation level as well. I have received only 20 feedbacks. I need more feedbacks, your answers. I'm waiting. Someone is saying B. Amir Hamza is saying B. Someone is saying B. Kirish Thanthan G. And Harish Shani Murali B. Vismay A. D. Option B. Wow. There are variety of options. Hey, option C. Sherdil. Option A. So every option is right according to your perspective, right? And there are very few people, there are very few people who says the right option. You need to think on each and every option. You need to think on each and every option, and then and then decide it. So, how we will discuss one by one. I would be interested. I would love to discuss each and every option so that you should know about the logic of the incorrect option. So, the Alan Marshall accepts appointment as a non-executive director in a client. Do you think self-interest and familiarity? Do you have any And do you feel any, you can say कि any familiarity threat exists? Because Alan Marshlow was the quality control reviewer on this client from the last two audits. Only last two audits. So how the familiarity threat exists? Because we are thinking about the Alan Marshall, who was the quality control reviewer on that client from the last two audits. We are not taking that decision based on the organization's relationship, audit firm relationship with the client. Here we are talking about the Alan Marshall. So we should think what's the relation of Alan Marshall with the client. So Alan Marshall does not have any familiarity risk with the client because it was the quality control reviewer from the last 2 years only. So if you are thinking about the Hoti and Co and Plant and Co relationship, then it was a several years. So obviously you can say, but here we are thinking about the Helen Marshall relations with the client. So option A is wrong. If we are talking about the D, so obviously familiarity threat. If there is no familiarity threat in option A, then how it can be option D? So A and D is wrong options. Now you have to decide what is the right option, A, B, or C, right? So if the familiarity threat is not in option A and D, then how it can be in option C? So obviously there is only one option, that is self-interest threat. Self-interest threat and self-review threat. Now I will tell you why it is self-review threat. Why it is self-review threat. So it is mentioned in your chapter, in your in your textbook, in your BPB textbook, that no partner of the firm should serve as a director of an audit, and as such, Hoti and Co. should be seen should be seen what can be done. So there is only one option is remaining. If it is not allowed, if it is not allowed and martial law accepts the engagement, then what should be the Hotiko should resign as an auditor. So it is a threat in which the company has to resign, because audit firm's partner is not allowed to become the director of the company, and it is mentioned in your BPP textbook. So now comes, in paper there is a technique. You need to shortlist the options, which options are not correct and you are confident on it. You should be delete. You should not be included in your in your decision. So you need to you can say that you need to exclude it when you are taking the decisions. You need to filter, when you are confident that this option is wrong, you need to filter the options. So when you have limited options, when you have limited options to decide, so your answer will be correct, has a maximum chances. So now come to the next. uh, The board of directors has also asked Hooty and Co. if they would be able to provide internal audit services to the company. Internal audit services to the company. So, what's the required question? You are separately considering plants company requires to provide internal audit services and the remit of these services if they are accepted. So, which of the following will result in assuming a management responsibility in relation to the internal audit services? So, when you are giving these services, our examiner is ask you in these four options, which options are related to the management responsibility in the relation to internal audit services. If the audit firm is provide the internal audit services, then what would be the audit firm's roles as a management responsibility? So what would be the firm's role as a management responsibility? So let's read the first requirement, and that is taking responsibility for designing and maintaining internal control systems. So if your audit firm is providing the internal audit services, so this work should be done by the audit firm as an internal audit department, as an in providing the internal audit services. So option 1 is right. Now read the second option. Determining which recommendation should take priority and be implemented. So as an internal audit function, you need to put the internal controls so that the errors and fraud can be prevented and detected. So it is the role of the audit function so that he can give the recommendations. C. Determining the reliance which can be placed on the work of internal audit for the external audit. So do you think that the option 3 is correct, like determining the reliance which can be placed on the work of internal audit, that internal audit work will determine the reliance for the external audit work? It is the role of the internal audit department to determine the reliance for the external auditors. Internal auditors do not have any relationship with the external auditor. So how they can determine the reliance for the external audit? D, setting the scope of the internal audit function. Obviously, this is the work of the internal audit. So option 1, 2, and 4 is right. So I think option C is the right answer. So option C is the right answer. So guys, what is your what about your feelings? So you need to understand each and every. Give me more feedback. You need to understand and read each and every option. Okay, very carefully. You can get much more marks in this section. Karen, uh, okay. The question is, the question is, if the audit firm is providing the internal audit services, if the audit firm providing the internal audit services, then what would be the responsibility of the audit firm as a management responsibility? Well, what would be the audit firm do as become the owner of the internal audit function? So if the audit firm is the owner of the internal audit function at their client, he is responsibility for designing and maintaining the internal controls. He is responsible for giving the recommendations. He is responsible for setting the scope of the internal audit work to be carried out, but he is not responsible to determine the reliance for the external audit work. He is not determining the reliance is not responsible in determining the reliance for the external audit. So these all three functions, these are three options 1, 2, and 4, which the internal audit department carried out the functions. Number 3 is not the function of the internal audit department. This is totally a wrong option. If the internal audit department determining the reliance for the external audit for the coming external audit, so how the external audit do their work if they reliance on the internal audit department? Obviously external department do some reliance but not all the reliance. So that percentage of reliance is not decided by the internal audit department, or that type of reliance you cannot determine. Reliance cannot be determined. It is determining by your work. It is determining by your professional experience. So it is not about like you want to achieve some target, you want to achieve some role in percentage. So this is not the function of internal audit department. So let's go for the fifth and the last MCQ of this question. Which of the following actions should HOTI and Co take to maintain their objectivity in relation to the level of fee income from weed company? Now, see what is written. Weed Co, a listed company, is one of the HOTI and Co largest kind. Last year, the fee for the audit and other services was 1.2 million, and this year it is expected to be 1.3 million, which sorry, which represents 16.6% and 18.1% on HOTI and Co total income. So read it again. I'm giving you a minute. Read it again thoroughly. Then I will come to the MCQ. Please read it again thoroughly. So I am going towards the MCQs. This is the fifth MCQ. Which of the following actions should HOTI and Co take to maintain their objectivity in relation to the level of fee income from WeedCo? So the level of the income was 18.1%. And you know, it is a list audit client is the listed company. There is a rule set, and I have also mentioned in my slide. I have also mentioned in the slide. I have also mentioned in the slide, you will read it, that for listed company, your fees will not be more than 15% of their total revenue. Your fees of the client will not be more than 15% of the firm's total revenue. So here it is the 18.1%. So I am telling you the rule: if you have the income more than if you have the income more than 15%, then you should be communicated to the those charged with governance. It is a rule set by the professional ethics, and it is mentioned in your BPP textbook. So I'm going to read each and every requirement. The level of fee income should be communicated to those charged with governance. So this is the right option which I'm going to tell you. Separate teams should be used for the audit and non-audit work. So here we are talking about the issue related fees related issue. We are not talking about the audit and non-audit work. So how it is the right option? How it is relevant to the above scenario? So this option is totally wrong. So you need to filter. You need to filter it and exclude it from your best options. Request payment of the current year's audit fee in advance of any working being performed. So the issue is still here. Your fees is greater than 15% of your firm's total revenue. Sorry, of your firm's total revenue. If you take the fee set in advance, but the issue is still unresolved. So how it can be a safeguard? Request a pre-issuance review be conducted by an external accountant. So option 1 and 4 is the right option. Why fourth option is right, I'm going to tell you. When your fees is more than 15% of your total revenue, professional ethics says that the firm can be dependent on that client. That the firm can be dependent on that client. That the firm can be dependent, can be compromised, its integrity and objectivity due to the option due to the significant fees getting from one client. So to reduce that threat, you need to independent review to be conducted by the external accountant. So option 1 and 4 is the right option. So Ashik, you are the only person who is right. Uh, of 15%, so it is creating a yes. Sahar, you are also right. Sahar is always right, huh? And Ashik, you are right. Karan, thank you, Karan. What about Vismay? Vismay, are you getting my points? Need more feedbacks. There are many participants right now who is listening my webinar. Need more feedbacks. You were almost sure about option B. Why is option B? Separate teams should be used for the audit and non option B 3 and 4. In advance, when you take the fees in advance, The problem is still there. How you can exhaust the option, how you can reduce the risk. This is about the risk of the dependence of the audit firm. Thank you, Kainat. Thank you, Amar. Pre-issuance review. Thank you, Aurela. Aurela, I got your first message, I think so. Vismay, Kainat, okay. Thank you. Now, you suggest me, I would like to take your recommendation as a player. I would give you two options. That is, can we start the next question or end the session? Or you would need a 10 minutes break and then we can start the question. But I need your presence, I need your motivation, I need your acknowledgement. So, what is the option you want? Can we start the question and end the session, or we need to take the break for 10 minutes or then start the question? Uh, Vismay, thank you. Vismay saying we are not bored or tired yet, sir. Your explanation is interesting, sir. Thank you. So everyone is saying start the question. So we are going to start the question. Yes, Vidhan, obviously we will start and the session after that. Let's continue Valentine. Okay, okay, Valentine. So I think this is your first message as well. Thank you, Ishad. And Ishad is saying we are enjoying the way you are teaching. Let's continue. Okay. Now we are going to start the next question, uh, which would be, yes, this is the OT. LV fonts. LV fonts, this is the answer of LV fonts. Yes, this is the question of LV fonts. So this is the question of LV fonts. Just give me 10 seconds. I would like to drink a water. My throat is very dry. Wait a second. Thank you for your analogy. LV fonts. I'm going to read the question. You just need to focus. I'm here for to read the question. Yes. The following scenario relates to this. Okay, you are the audit manager of Jones and Company, and you are planning the audit of LV Phones, a listed company, which has been an audit client for 4 years and specializes in manufacturing luxury mobiles. During the planning stage of the audit, you have been obtained the following information. The employees of LV Phones Co. are entitled to purchase smartphones at a discount of 10%. The employees of LV phones are entitled to purchase smartphones at a discount of 10%. So this option is available to everyone because LV phones, the employees of the LV phones can purchase any smartphone with the offer of discount 10%. So it can be purchased anyone. The audit team has in previous years has been offered the same level of staff discount. Okay. During the year, the financial controller of LV phones was ill and hence unstable to work. The company had no spare staff available to fulfill the role, and hence the qualified audit senior of Jones and Co. was seconded to the client for 3 months. Qualified audit senior of Jones and Co., which is the odd name of the audit firm, was seconded to the client for 3 months to cover the work of the financial controller. So the audit partner has recommended, so this is the first thread. So this is the thread that is the self-review thread can exist. I'm just asking you, generally, this is the self-review thread that the firm personnel is doing the work of the client. So if anything raised by the audit, by the external audit department of the audit firm, it will be a problem for the audit firm because this problem can be due to the audit senior of the Jones and Co. who is working in the absence of financial controller. The audit partner has recommended that the audit senior work on the audit as he has good knowledge of the client. Okay. The fee income derived from LV funds were boosted by this engagement and along with audit and tax fee now account for 16% of the firm's total fees. That is last year 15.7 and this year is 16%. So this is also be a self-interest thread. Self-interest thread because when the uh, audit when the audit firm's revenue is increases by 15%, more than 15%, from the 15% from one client, it can be dependent on that client. To reduce the threat, we done the quality control review, second partner review, you can say, and we should tell to those charged with governance. Okay, let's see what the question says. From a review of correspondence files, you know 20% of the last year audit fee is still outstanding. So there can be a intimidation threat. Can be exist. Because of the information you have summarized some of the potential risk to independence in the audit of LV funds as follows. The audit firm has been offered a discount on luxury phones, but please remember that this offer is available to every employee of the staff. The audit senior was candid to LV to cover for the financial controller. Where for the financial controller, here is a self-review thread. Okay, total fees from OLV is over 15% of the total fees of the firms for the second consecutive year. So here it can be a self-interest threat. Fees are overdue in respect of the last year audit, so it can be a intimidation threat. Now you people tell me uh, what's the right answer. Question number 21 is which of the following options best describe the valid potential threats to independence in the audit of LV funds and allocates the threat to the most appropriate category. Most appropriate category. So which option is right? So I need your feedbacks. I need more feedbacks. Okay, I will show you the question. People are asking the uh, question. So read the question. So now I'm going to uh, who is saying option one is right, who is saying option two, and who is saying option three? Abdul Rahman, your answer is right. Sohaib, you're right. Yes, Seher is also right. Valentine, you're also right. Bilal, most of the students are right. Kirishtan Subarm, you are not right. Your answer is wrong. Suhail, your answer is right. Yes, Stephanie, you are also right. Yes, most of the students are right. And now I need one more feedback. That is, now I will tell you one thing. I will tell you one thing here. The audit team has been offered a discount on luxury fonts. Luxury fonts means a significant value fonts. So audit team means audit team has its own level and audit partner has its own level. Maybe it is immaterial for the partner level, but for the audit team, this discount has a material value. So you need to be considered one more point, that any gift which is given by the client, you need to be focused the worth of the gift and who is receiving the gift, or you can say the audit client offering the gift to whom. If the audit client is offering the discounts on luxury phones to the audit team, it is a material. It is a material. But if the same discount is offered to a engagement partner or senior partner, it is immaterial. So the same thing you can be applied on the familiarity thread, on a personal relation, on a familiarity thread. Suppose if a junior in the audit team has a relation with the client, do you think that type of relation does impact on the audit report? Do you think if any junior or internee of the audit team has a long relationship with the client, junior, I am not asking about the senior management. Do you think that the junior person's relationship impact on the financial statements, on the decision of the auditor? Obviously not. So I am going to turn off one more bulb in your thinking, in your head. That is, when you will consider anything threat, you need to consider the worth of the threat and to whom has this threat. So here it is talking about the 10% discount is offered to the audit team. So it is a threat, it is a self-interest threat. Now, the audit senior was candid to LV. So obviously, it first is self-interest, second is self-review. Number third, total fees from LV is over 15% of the total fees of the firm for the second consecutive year. Here, there is no you can say there is no indication that the client is can intimidate you. There is no indication that the client is threatening you. There is no issue here which indicates you that the report is modified, but the client is going to threaten you to unmodify it. To, so here it is a self-interest threat that you need to take the 15% of the total fees. That's the explanation of the fourth point. So what's the explanation of the third point is 15% of the total fees is expanding. So maybe there is a client that has dependent on this. So it is also the self-interest threat. Now, what would be the right option? Yes, you're right, self-interest because it's a field dependence. So we are going to towards the answer. Answer is, I think, uploaded above. Yes, this is the answer. Yes, yeah. 1, 3, and 4. The audit team have previously offered a 10% discount luxury funds from LV funds, which will be potentially have a high value as only goods with a trial and inconsequential value can be received. So if the same discount is again offered, it will constitute a self-interest right. The fee income from LV 16% of Jones. So it is about the so there is a self-interest threat again because fees is increasing more than 15%. The overdue fees is 20% may be perceived as a loan which is prohibited. So it is also the self-interest threat. The audit senior probably prepare a significant proportion of the records to be audited. This creates a self-review threat as he will be review his own work during the so that's a self-review threat, and remaining 1, 3, and 4 are the self-interest threat. So most of the students are right, and obviously this is giving me a more motivation. Thank you. Now I need your more 15 to 20 minutes, then we are going to end up this session. We are going towards the second to read the second MCQs. Now, you have also discovered that the engagement partner and the finance director have known each other socially for many years, and in fact went on holiday together last summer with their families to the finance director villa. Wow, great. These two threats to independence are raised by the relationship, and safeguards should be applied. So, what should be the self-interest? What should be the threat at here? Need your feedbacks. There is no intimidation threat. So option B and C need to be filtered and exclude from the option. Now you have to decide familiarity and self-interest threat. Obviously, this is a self-interest threat is first, and second is familiarity. So rotation of audit partner or joins a co as design and auditor. So what would be the option? You can rotate the partner. You can rotate the partner. You don't need to resign. There are many partners available in the organization. Both are senior persons, audit partner and the other person is finance director. So you just need to change the audit engagement partner, then your safeguard will be the safeguard will be applied on this thread. So I would like to say, how many of you do you think that fourth option is the correct? Yes, many of you have said. Okay. Remember one thing, Kainas is right. Companies not normally resign and auditors because only they can resign in extreme situations where there is no safeguard available to reduce the threat. If there is no option available to reduce the threat, then this is the last. Sorry. So this is the last option you can. Sorry. Last option you can apply to resign from the client. Now we are going to third. In relation to the audit team being offered a 10% discount on mobile phones, which of the following statement true in accordance with ACCA Code of Ethics and Conduct? The audit team can accept the discount that is on the same terms as that offered to staff. Junior members of the team are allowed to accept the discount, but the audit manager and the audit partner should not. No. Unless the value of the discount is trivial and inconsequential. Inconsequential means immaterial to the audit team members, the offer should be a decline. So, unless the value of the discount is trivial, trivial means major. You can say the major amount. Okay. So until unless the value is is become the trivial, to the auditing member, the offer should be declined. The audit team is only allowed to accept a discount of up to 5%. So that's the option is totally wrong. First option is also wrong. So you need to define what's the option from B or C. So option C is right. Now we are going towards the fourth option. Three, any feedback, any question do you ask from your tutor? Now we are going to read fourth question. Which of the following steps must Jones and Co. take as the fees from LV has exceeded 15% from the last 2 years? Resign from the audit, disclose the matter to those charged with governance NEA. So what do you say? Which option is right? You people should know. We have discussed this thing before. This is a very easy question. Which option is right? Which option is right? I need your feedbacks. Option 4, 2, and 3. Okay. So which option is right? Need more feedbacks. So option 1 is not right, 2 and 3. So option D is right. So we are going to Read the last question of this session. The finance director of LVU has made some inquiries about the other services that show that Jones and Co. may be able to assist with. In the table below, indicate whether Jones and Co. would or would not be able to provide the other services. Obviously, services can be provided. So, we need to define which services need to be given by the client or by the firm, or which services cannot be given. Sorry. So it is mentioned in your chapter that audit firm should not be give those services in which the audit firm cannot give those services in which their responsibility can be included, in which their responsibility need to be involved. So only those services that the audit firm provided to the client. So the finance director of LV. Now we are going to read the one by one option. Design and implementation of IT systems over financial reporting. So you will also do the audit of the financial reporting. So is there, so do you feel that the audit firm should provide those services? I think it cannot provide these services because the responsibility will be on the audit firm by designing and implementation of IT systems over financial reporting. If it is not written financial reporting, then the audit firm can provide the services. Assistance with preparation of tax return. Obviously, they can provide the assistance. Assistance is allowed. Accounting services not allowed because you will do the audit of the same. Recruiting services for the position of credit controller. Obviously, you can provide these services. So these are all the things which we have discussed for the threads. So today's session is over. Is Do you have any question? So I'm not taking time. I'm just winding up the session. I'm winding up the session. After the closing of the screen, the feedback window will appear in front of you. So kindly provide your feedback. And I am again apologize for the today's inconvenience you feel you face. But I tried my best to solve the issue, and my effort will give the fruitful results. You are able to understand the topic. You are able to do the practice. So I know you, at least you are able to understand the question scenarios. You are understand to realize how the options can be filtered and exclude from the best options. If you will use this strategy, it is easy for you. It is easy for you to finalize the or select the best option. So remember, always try to exclude the options on which you have the confidence, which are totally wrong. Which are totally wrong. So tomorrow is the last session. Will be the last session in which we will discuss the audit reports. Up till yet, take care of yourself. Remember me in your prayers. Make the practice. Do not focus on listening the webinars of the different professionals. Try to listen one webinar, and then you can, and then you should make the practice. You should do the practice. Focus on the kit. Make the practice. I am again saying, you do not focus on reading the text or listening the webinars. If you will listening the other webinars, you will confused about the different suggestions of the different professionals. So trust on me. If you will trust on me, you will be succeeded. uh, and it's all about my suggestions, and I have done the I have done the practical of these suggestions on myself as well. I have just focused on doing the kit, and I got, I think, more than 70% marks. So in the first attempt, so there are many other retakers. There are many who is giving the audit in the first attempt. So I totally and strongly recommend you to start the practice today. A very good conversation was going on in the WhatsApp group. Make your contribution in the WhatsApp groups and try to do your work and post in the group so everyone can read it and everyone can give their suggestion and everyone can identify your mistake if there is any. So try to benchmark. You will you should do 3 questions or 4 questions on a daily basis and make a plan. You should complete the kit at least minimum 2 times before attempting the question, so you will get the much confidence and you will not be afraid in attempting the questions in the exams. So that's all about my efforts. uh, you need to remember my each and everything. I will send you the my final PowerPoint slides by tomorrow. You will get the final and modified uh, slides. So don't forget to give the feedback after closing the window, and the feedback window will appear in front of you. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz. Bye. Take care of yourself again and stay happy.